I did a speech in Traverse City about 5 years ago, and the speech was about innovation. And there was a panel of people that were all together up on the stage. And I realized when I was answering the questions about innovation, I was actually quoting the Honda philosophy: respect for the individual, initiative, equality, trust. And the interesting thing was, they asked the same question to the guy who was next to me. And he said, our innovation depends upon whatever the new CEO says. And that's when it really struck me that the Honda philosophy provides that foundation from which we can all thrive.
The Honda philosophy origins are very easy to find and easy to understand. They came from our founders, Mr. Honda and Mr. Fujisawa.
Mr. Honda said, the purpose of our technology is to help people and society.
It's all about people, it's all about humanity, it's all about common sense and how we can work together with one goal in mind: to satisfy customers.
It's kind of like a Bible of sorts for our company.
It's the one thing that we have that's a common bond.
It's a pole star, it's a direction. This is the one thing that is fixed and permanent. We understand who we are and where we need to go. Probably the most impactful story I have about the Honda philosophy really happened in my first week with Honda. And I had the occasion to go into a meeting, a very serious meeting, with Mr. Amamiya. The normal protocol would have been discussing the pros and cons and merits of the costs of doing the right thing. It was probably the shortest meeting I've ever been in. The problem was laid out in less than a minute, and Mr. Amamiya said one thing. He said, if you were a customer who owned this vehicle, what would you want done? And the first response was, I'd want it fixed, and I'd want to be told about it. And he said, then it's simple. That's what we'll do. That single-minded focus on what the customer wanted really set the tone for me and was instrumental in forming my opinion about the Honda philosophy and practice.
6 or 7 years into my career here at Honda, we were having a little trouble between one of our operations and the local community where we operated, and we had 3 or 4 solutions to the problem. One choice cost $0, and another choice was up to multi-million dollars that it would cost Honda to fix this problem. And the decision was made in an instant. And the president said, in this kind of situation, we have to do what's right for the community, and took the much more costly approach. And that really had an impact on me. I really came to understand how Honda thinks about how we apply our philosophy to problem solving and to our relationships with communities.
Respect for the individual is one of the absolute cores of our philosophy.
The idea of respect is not just a social kind of aspect, but it's respect for your ideas.
We want an atmosphere, an environment where we can pursue the concept of Waigaya, an open meeting where things are discussed and titles are left aside.
Having the respect and the openness to accept the idea that my ideas might not be the only ideas.
You know, the 3 joys, when I first came into the company, I didn't quite understand them.
Joy is a very deep emotional sentiment. You have to embody joy. When I hear about artists creating things, they receive joy. They receive a deep emotional kind of fulfillment from creating a beautiful work of art. So I think about the joy of creating on Honda's part as a truly emotional event.
Creating the joy is people to respond, thank you. If people smile, really smile from the bottom of the heart, that is evidence. So the joy.
The Honda stories are unique in the industry. Customers come up and say, hey, you know, I had a Honda and I started 30 years ago with my first and I'm now on my 10th. Those are the stories that you'd never hear from other manufacturers. So I think that whole idea of joy is very purposeful and represents a very deep emotional feeling that our customers, our retailers, and we get from a job well done.
And then the other two key words we talk about are passion and challenging spirit. And to me, that speaks to how we go about our work, how we put our hearts into our work.
Honda's a company that still embodies to a great extent that challenging spirit, that ability to dream big, and support those dreams with action.
Doing new things is the core of our strategy to do things that only Honda can do.
We try to do things that aren't conventional, and maybe other people would think we were crazy.
One of the fantastic examples that we have has been our aircraft. The challenging spirit of the members that dreamed up the aircraft and never said no.
Because somebody could dream it, they got to do it.
I joined this company because of that aircraft. When I read about it in Aviation Week, I thought, if a company can do that, and they're that challenging, they're making airplanes, they're making robots, what can't they do? We will always strive and challenge to create the next best thing, and it's never going to stop.
Finally, when you boil it all down, what's the most important thing about the Honda philosophy? Be a good human being, do the right thing, do right by people.
Do the right thing, and everything else will come into focus.
And it's really, really important that we pass that down to the next generation of associates.
There's a quote by Soichiro Honda that says, "Action without philosophy is a lethal weapon, and philosophy without action is useless."
So I think one of the challenges has always been to live the philosophy each and every day so that our associates understand through our actions, not through our words, what the Honda philosophy stands for.
The philosophy is as applicable today as it was 60 years ago when it was first set down. So if that's the case, then taking us forward, we're going to need to apply the same Honda philosophy in order to be leading edge, in order to innovate into the future.
With the philosophy, we as a company can make the future. And that's the most powerful dream of all.